JSE still down about 2/3 of 1%, so a little bit of pressure, but we didn't fare too badly yesterday considering some of the pullbacks we saw globally.
Yes, I think that the market is quite undecided at the moment, and you've seen quite a choppy market over the last few days. We have one up day, one down day, etc. So it's quite choppy at the moment, and people are really worried about what's happening in the Middle East with Libya, and if there's going to be contagion into Saudi. So I think that people are very shy to put very big amounts of money into the market at the moment, and you've seen quite a choppy trade over the last few days.
Well, we've seen that choppiness on the oil price as well, and I suppose it really is the oil price that has the market jittery at the moment. We had reports that Libyan leader Muammar Gadaffi could be trying to negotiate some sort of exit from Libya. We've also had OPEC saying that it could lift supplies to make up for any shortfall in the market. Do you think that's going to give a bit of respite to the markets at this stage?
I think it will give a bit of respite. We've seen the oil price come down slightly already since OPEC said that they will just increase the amount that they're producing every day. And obviously the Libyan leader, I think he does want to step out, but he wants to step out with all of his cash and all of his money. And maybe the opposition there will say to no to that. But I think at least it is a step forward, and he doesn't seem to be wanting to carry on with the civil war. So positive on that side, but we'll just have to wait and see. Saudi Arabia look like they're going to have protests on Friday, so we'll have to wait and see what pans out with that. And I think the market is really looking at that as the main criteria of whether they can re-enter this market or if they have to sell out and inflation then become a very big worry.
Because in perspective, of course, Libya only supplies 2% of global oil. Saudi Arabia supplies 10%, and if the same things had to happen in Saudi, that really could put the brakes on global growth, couldn't it?
Yes, definitely. Saudi is also part of the OPEC and a very big member of OPEC, so I think that's very problematic if it did spill over into Saudi. Then you're looking at an oil price easily of $150, and at that rate inflation will be very rapid, and that will derail the growth that we've seen coming out of the United States and a little bit of Europe as well.
We had that gold price yesterday topping $1,444 an ounce, so a new record high for the gold price. It's pulled back a little bit today. To what extent do you think the gold price is illustrating what's going down globally at the moment, Rob?
I think it's illustrating quite a lot. I think you can see that the sovereign debt issues in Europe are coming back to fall, and that's Greece being downgraded. I think that's put a little bit of money back into gold. The oil price and inflationary pressures also putting money back into gold. So I think that gold's definitely benefiting from a safe haven point of view, not just its old jewelry production side. So definitely safe haven buying coming into gold, and we've seen a very strong gold price over $1,400 now for a month, for about 2 months now. So looking really solid. And I think that you'll have to wait for gold to come below $1,400 until you can see the risks coming out from the world markets.
Well, among all this, we've had a number of big blue chip companies reporting back to the market, perhaps starting with Sasol, which came out yesterday. Headline earnings per share for the half year up 22%, its dividend up 11%. What did you make of those numbers, Rob?
They're very good numbers. On a cost level, they're really keeping their costs down. During the year, the production in all of their different divisions was increased except for Synfuels, but they had to close their plant down for Synfuels for quite a long time. So all the other product divisions increase in production, and a very good set of numbers. At the same time, Sasol's moved up 38% since the third quarter last year, so it really has had a very big run with the oil price and obviously with costs that they're keeping at bay. So it's had a very good price run up all the way up to nearly 390 Rand, and we see it at fair value at 390 Rand. So I think that the upside from here on is very limited for Sasol, unless obviously there's contagion in the oil price and we see oil go beyond $115. If that oil price comes off, I think at this stage Sasol's fully priced.
Old Mutual out with numbers today. They came in a little bit better than the market was expecting, it looks like. They also talked about their US life business, that the plan is to get this sold within the first quarter of this year, and that must be welcomed by investors.
Yes, it says they'll definitely sell that life business, and then they want to do an IPO on the asset management business in the States, which I think will be very promising for the company. They want to do that by the end of 2012. So it's still a little bit of time to go, but if they can IPO on the asset management business, that will be looking very good for them. And then $350 million from the sale of the life business. I think that the share was sold off quite aggressively in December, down to about R12.90, and that was on concerns that they might not be able to sell the life business. But they've come out quite strongly saying it's definitely going through and in the first quarter. So the market liked that, trading up today, I think at around 15.10.
We had Firstrand under a little bit of pressure yesterday afternoon. That trade was suspended for about an hour after the results which were due out this morning were leaked from the website. Looking at those numbers, though, the market responding positively today now that it's had time to digest them, and that share price up a little bit. What do you make of it?
A nice set of earnings. I think that if you take a look at all the banks, really a lot of the earnings have come from better than expected decrease in bad debts, and the decrease in bad debts is bringing the return to profits rather than new growth. So I think what the banks are battling with at the moment is growth. Firstrand also said that they're battling to find extra growth in the market, and so that's really the concern. So a decent set of numbers. The banks are starting to produce revenue again from a low base, and they'll be profitable for the next few years, but you're not going to see massive growth in Firstrand going forward. So if you have to get into Africa or open up new product lines, it's definitely something that the local banks are going to have to look at. But at the moment, a nice set of results, but nothing that's going to really keep you from you might be able to find other stocks in the market that will give you better growth than Firstrand.